But I mean, no wonder that story would never have worked if they shared that he had been in India and he had gone to, to England, and that he had been married not only once but twice and had children with two different women. I mean, oh my God, this just would never have, yeah, the story would never have worked. It is just mind blowing to know all of this. Hi, and welcome back to Empowered Spirit Healing. My name is Paula, and I am super excited to get on with episode 4 of reading Anna, the Voice of the Magdalenes. I am super excited to uncover more secrets with you all. But just before I get into that, I just wanted to share with you, you might be wondering that why I have a different background behind me, and that is because I've actually moved to a different room in my house. And that is because I am getting back into my healing work. When I first started on YouTube, probably about a year and a half ago, I think now, I was doing healing work with people. I do multi-dimensional quantum healing. That's what I've been qualified in. I also do hypnosis, and I basically am very passionate about helping people clear out our limiting and subconscious beliefs that are preventing us from living our best life. And I also practice this work on myself, and my life has changed dramatically over the last probably 10 years. I've gone through a lot of ups and downs, but I have never stopped working on myself. And I'm just really passionate about that. And that's why I wanted to start a YouTube channel, and just to help guide other people in different ways that they can heal themselves as well. And so, for anybody that doesn't know, I do actually create personalized healing meditations and soundscapes, and also hypnoscapes. And a hypnoscape is basically a hypnotic meditation that kind of goes into a soundscape. So you could put it on before you go to sleep, listen to the 10, 15, 20-minute meditation, and then it goes into the soundscape and just continues on for a whole 8 hours. And that's what I listen to most evenings when I go to sleep. And I personalize them. I create a script just for you and whatever issues that you want to resolve. And I'm also getting back into my intuitive healing sessions. So I do these during school hours because that's just what works best for me at this point in time, because I've got 3 young children. And I also, for people that might be, so I'm based in Australia, and for people that are in other countries and other time zones, I also do remote healing. So for people that can't meet on a Zoom and have a session with me, can do that. And I know that I am quite quiet about that because I get a bit uncomfortable with selling myself. But I just thought I need to stop hiding who I am and what I do, and I need to be more comfortable with promoting myself. And I think a lot of healers, a lot of people out there that do this kind of work can often struggle with the selling of themselves. But, it's time for us to step into our power. And especially with so many changes going on in the world, I'm not that great at astrology, at understanding the concept of it all, but I do know that we are having a lot of big shifts. And being a Pisces, I know that Pisces is very much being called into stepping into their power. So I'm just like, okay, I need to start putting that out there more often. So if that is something that you're interested in, please visit my website, which I share in my description below. And if not, all good. Now let's get stuck into the next episode. I do want to share with you, just in the brackets in the last chapter, in chapter 4, there was some brackets with a little message in there, and I didn't want to share that last episode because it didn't really relate to then, it relates to now. So that's why I'm going to read that now, and then I'm going to get into chapter 5. So the message is, in brackets, it says, Anna and the councils have assessed that the previous readers of Anna, grandmother of Jesus, are now ready to hear the secrets that had been held back concerning the Magdalenes and Yeshua's relationship to them. In order to proceed, it is now necessary to retrace Yeshua's earlier experiences and tell about his marriage with Myriam of Tyana, a Magdalene priestess. We are taken to the area where Galilee and Samaria border one another near Mount Gilboa. It is here where Yeshua meets Myriam at a well and shortly thereafter marries her. This chapter provides a first witness account of their wedding celebration. So I just wanted to share that here because I feel like it makes more sense to share that before getting into chapter 5. All right, let's continue with chapter 5, Galeah, the wedding of Yeshua and Myriam of Tyana. Galeah, so it's Galeah talking. First of all, I'd like to report that I am hearing the sound of musical instruments, cymbals, tambourines, drums, flutes, horns, and stringed instruments. It is a celebration of great happiness and joy. There are joyful sounds of music, clapping, laughter, and much singing. As I look down at my feet, they are unshod and tanned. My soles are calloused. I can move freely on the sandy ground and the flagstone paving without any sense of discomfort. I am dancing now, and my garment is gracefully sweeping over the flat stones. I am raising up my skirt a bit to expose my ankles and calves. With great joy, I whirl around and around. My black hair hangs in thick, lustrous strands below my waist. The crown of my head is covered with a long red silk scarf, which I wrap in such a way that it is knotted at the nape of my neck. The fringed loose ends flow among my wavy locks. My full bosom is accented by my red robe, which is gathered tightly around my waist with a scarf of many colours and intricate patterns. My arms are deeply tanned and mostly bare. Catherine Ann, henceforth C.A. Do you have any kind of ornamentation? Galeah, just a bangle here on my left wrist and some earrings. I hope someday to wear the serpent of the goddess on my arm. C.A. Are you carrying anything? Galeah, I am holding a tambourine. It has a tight skin on one side. When I shake and strike it, the bells and drum make rhythmic sounds. There are other girls and women dancing with tambourines and cymbals. C.A. How old are you? Galeah, 15. C.A. What are you called? Galeah, one name my family and friends like to call me is Galeah. C.A. What is the celebration? Galeah, Yeshua is getting married. C.A. Who is his bride? Galeah, oh, that is the beautiful one, Myriam. There are many guests and it is very lovely. There is so much joy. I am very happy she and Yeshua ben Joseph are honoring their love under the wedding canopy. C.A. Where does the wedding take place? Galeah, it is taking place in Uncle Eliezer's of Tyana's home. We live in the land called Samaria, northwest of Jerusalem. Not too far away to the west, there is a Roman city called Caesarea that lies beside the Great Sea. To the north and northeast are the beautiful hills that climb up to Mount Carmel and Mount Tabor. To the east are Mount Gilboa and the gentle River Jordan. The Galilean road from Sepphoris and Nazareth run through our valley, plain and pasture lands, where many sheep, goats, and cattle feed. My uncle's large home is near the village of Galeah. I live with my family in the village, but my father is not so rich in land and animals. My father is a tradesman who buys and sells many things. Our home is smaller and cannot support such an occasion as this. Myriam is my aunt, the youngest of my father's many sisters. Uncle Eleazar is proud to host so many people. CA. Please tell me more about the celebration. You have shared there is music. Tell me about the ceremony, the food, and how long this wedding will be. Galeah. It will go on for days. Most of the guests will be here for 3 days. Others who have travelled a long distance will stay for a week or so. Yeshua's uncle, called Joseph of Arimathea, has land he inherited from his father-in-law south of here, in the Samaritan village of Arimathea. I am told he also owns houses in Bethany and Jerusalem and boats that make voyages on the Great Sea. He is very rich. It is he who is making it possible for all of Yeshua's relatives to come here from Mount Carmel, Cana, and Nazareth. As I said, my uncle Eleazar is wealthy in land and many herds of animals. He and my father Achim and their wives, joined cousins who have lived in Samaria and Galilee for generations. My family came here before I was born. They and all their ancestors came from a land far to the north in a region called Cappadocia. My family came from a village called Tyana. I have heard our forefathers, who are mostly of the tribe of Benjamin, come from this land where we now live, many, many generations ago. But they were taken captive and forced to live in Assyria and Babylon. There was a great dispersion of the tribes of Israel at that time. We feel that we have returned to our original homeland. Tyana is where Myriam used to live. She came to live with us several years ago. My father brought her for a visit when he returned from one of his journeys to Sicilia and Cappadocia, gathering goods to sell. She enjoyed being here and chose to stay. My family talks about Yeshua and Myriam's marriage being an important liaison. My father and uncle are very happy for this reconnection of the family tree. Several generations ago, there was an uncomfortable estrangement between both paternal and maternal lineages, from which Yeshua also comes. They feel Yeshua's connection to the royal house of David through both his parents is good for them politically, since most Jews despise the people of Samaria for the Assyrian blood that runs in our veins. There are many among us who see Jews as corrupt bigots, and it is we who better live the original teachings of our fathers, Abraham and Moses. I think this is especially true in the way many of my family honour the Great Mother of Life. I experience these quarrels as petty distractions and the poisonous source of unnecessary suffering. I, like my elders, am glad for the healing that may come of this union. CA. Has the wedding ceremony begun? Galeah. This is the day we prepare for the actual marriage ceremony. CA. How do you prepare? Galeah. We prepare with lots of dancing and feasting, laughter in brackets. CA. That sounds fun, big laugh in brackets. Galeah. I am Miriam's favorite niece, and I love her very much. Actually, I think my other cousins also feel like they are Miriam's favorite. She has a way of making everyone feel seen and special. CA, how do you feel about her and Yeshua getting married? Galeah, I am very happy for them. I hope I can have a husband like Yeshua. His brothers are here, and I am going to look at them and see if they are as handsome and kind as he is. Okay, so there's a number 4 here, and that is just a little note at the bottom, and it says, Galeah did meet Yeshua's brother Jude, and in the course of time they married and raised a large family near Nazareth on the land that belonged to Anna's son Nathan. Okay, continuing on. His parents and other aunts and uncles are visiting too. I like his family. They dress very simply and their robes mostly look the same. They carry a peace within them that I enjoy very much. His mother is beautiful. She is different from the other women. She is different from the other women. Not only because she has lighter skin and hair, but there is something so gentle about her, like a turtle dove. She took me right into her arms when we first met. I felt like I never wanted to leave her embrace. It was so still, so comforting. It's really cool to hear that, because I get the feeling through reading these books that if I was to meet Anna or Mother Mary or Mary Magdalene, just any of the family members or the people are part of the Essene community, I think so many of them would just have such a beautiful, like loving, compassionate, and very calm kind of presence about them. I think there would be those kind of unique people that you meet that have a very unique kind of vibration about them, and they would really stand out, I think, in your memory compared to other people that you meet. And I think personally that's because of all of the healing work that they've done on themselves, all the initiations that they've gone through, and who they've become as people and their connection to God. Okay, so his mother, Mary Anna, introduced me to her mother, Anna of Mount Carmel, who also embraced me, but she felt different, like someone who is mysterious and rather distant, like I feel when I go with my mother to the shrine of the goddess. I don't have words to describe exactly how I felt. They both made my heart feel huge, but if I had to choose between them, it would be Mary Anna I would choose for my mother. Very interesting. CA. Did you meet Yeshua before or at the time of the wedding? Galeah. I first met him almost 6 months ago, shortly after he found Myriam at the well. She had been gathering water for the household and animals late in the afternoon. He was on his way to Arimathea from Nazareth with his uncle Joseph, who had invited Yeshua to travel with him. The purpose of the journey was to assess his uncle's holdings in Samaria and then visit the temple in Jerusalem and stay for a time in Joseph's home in Bethany. When Yeshua asked Myriam for water and he looked deeply into her eyes, they were stunned with deep recognition, and a great love swept over them. Myriam persuaded her new acquaintance to come to my uncle's home to have supper and rest for the night. Yeshua continued his journey after several days, but shortened his stay in Bethany so that he might return to our village to court Myriam. After several weeks of deep communion and meeting family members, my father escorted Myriam to Nazareth so that Yeshua's parents might meet her and give their blessing for a betrothal. Well, that moved rather fast. That celebration occurred there 2 weeks ago. Now we are celebrating their formal wedding. You have been told that Yeshua and his brother James are going with an uncle named Jacob to his grandfather. Joachim's ancestral lands near the Great Mountain. So it says number 5, Mount Ararat in present-day Turkey, not far from Tyana. Now that Myriam is his bride, she will introduce her new husband to our extended family remaining in that region. Then they will travel to the Orient, a very mysterious land. So I have been told. One of the main reasons for traveling such a distance is to meet many great teachers. Greater even than Yeshua's mother and grandmother. I can hardly imagine such ones, because in the few moments I was in Anna and Mary Anna's embrace, my mind began to expand without me doing anything. Wow, that's pretty cool. Even I, with little experience, can sense these women can lead anyone who is ready to know and see what the goddess knows and sees. CA. What is your favourite part of the wedding week? Galeah. Besides the dancing, there are special foods that we usually don't eat except on occasions like this. Some of the ingredients are rare. They come from distant lands like Egypt and Persia. There are also spices that come from even further away. The caravans bring them here from the Orient, where Yeshua and Myriam are going. My favourite foods are the ones that are sweet. I like anything sweet. CA. Are there many sweet things? Galeah. Oh yes, there are all manner of sweets made with honey and date paste. All food is a feast for the eyes, and it's been in preparation for weeks. I feel like a child who can barely wait to sample everything. Imagining how it might taste and smelling the exotic spices brings great pleasure to my senses. To taste it, though, is far better than eager anticipation and fond memory, because so much love and happiness is put into everything. And sharing it with everyone in seemingly unending courses is a crescendo of expanding delights. I think that's something that we really lack in this world today. I mean, I know there are many beautiful countries where they still celebrate, home cooking and putting so much love into their cooking and then sharing the meal with a family. But I feel like so many of us in very busy modern lives and living in cities, and everything is just so fast paced, and we don't always have time to cook. I mean, I try and cook as much as I can, but some nights I just don't have time or energy to cook. And just eating foods that I still try and eat as healthy as I can, but sometimes I buy, pre-made salads and pre-made soups and things because I don't have time to make it all, and it just doesn't have the same love and energy in it. And it's just so beautiful to hear that. I got to do a course last week, and I got to have a beautiful home cooked meal by this lovely Italian lady, and it was just so beautiful and so special. And it was all vegetables that had grown in her garden, and I was just like, wow, that's something that I would like to do more of when I get more time one day, is to grow some vegetables in my garden. I've tried growing different herbs and different things, but they don't always seem to live very well. CA. Tell me about the ceremony. What are Yeshua and Myriam wearing? Galeah. There has not been much time to prepare our usual elaborate wedding garments, but there are special fabrics that have been purchased and woven over the years. They are set aside for occasions like this. My women relatives have been busy sewing ever since the betrothal. Miriam's skirt is mostly woven of diaphanous white cotton from Egypt. It drapes beautifully over her hips, where it is gathered under a fitted girdle of knotted linen threads. There are wonderful little bells, shells, stones, and silver pieces tied to it. These are sewn and strung in such a way as to emphasize her feminine qualities. Her shapely breasts and arms are adorned with a short blouse with long draping sleeves. It is worn over the flowing skirt. When she raises her arms, her slender belly is exposed. The long sleeves flow in the breeze when she stands and spreads like wings when she dances. On her chest hangs a beautiful heirloom medallion made of silver, gold, and small jewels. She wears the golden serpent of the goddess on her left arm, signifying that she is an initiate of the Magdalene mysteries. Her breasts are full and lovely, like mine. Her long, wavy, and very thick hair is quite a rich dark brown, almost black, highlighted with mahogany henna dye that glints like specks of fire in the sun. CA. Does she wear anything on her head? Galeah. She is wearing a long shawl-like scarf made of the same gauzy fabric as her skirt. It is embroidered with intricate designs that portray floral garlands, doves, pomegranates, and other symbols of fertility. The threads are made of red and white silk. A simple band of gold that fits tightly over the crown of her head holds it in place. There are garlands of sweet roses and jasmine entwined around the band. When it is time, part of the shawl will come forward and hang down over her face. She has lovely henna designs on her hands, arms, and feet. A silver crescent moon hangs from her headband over her forehead. Her full lips are painted red, and her wide-set almond-shaped golden brown eyes are heavily outlined with black kohl. When you look into Miriam's eyes, there is a gentle softness and there is also a passionate fire. On the one hand, you want to lie still forever in her arms, and on the other, you want to dance with her, arm in arm, flying into the sun. She's not that much older than me, but I look up to her almost like an elder. She seems so wise, way beyond her years. I am told that she is 2 years older than Yeshua, who recently turned 17, though it is difficult to tell how old she is. Sometimes he seems very young, and at other times he has the look of a wise sage. There is a peculiar quality about him. He remains a mystery to me. CA. What do you find peculiar about Yeshua? Galeah. He is mysterious like Myriam. There's a mystery in their eyes that you can't quite fathom. One minute you think you have them figured out, and then the next thing you know, they say or do something unpredictable. There's an energy that I feel when I'm with them. I cannot find words to describe in my mind. It feels like quicksand, but not in a bad way. It just means that I'm constantly letting go of any ideas I might have about them. Without saying anything, I feel like they invite me to be with them moment by moment. It's fun, like when I was a child. Sometimes we just sat still, and when I look into their eyes, it's as if they are somewhere else while their bodies are here. There's a feeling of letting go of any thoughts about being separate from each other, from the sky, the sun, the earth, the ants, and the flies moving about us. And then in another breath, we are none of these things, just pure space like the deep cobalt blue sky. Then in the blink of an eye, we are in cheerful conversation again. Being with them gives me much to contemplate. It's like your body is here, but where are you? And who are you? Who is looking? When I look into their eyes, it is like looking into a deep, deep well, or looking into the blinding sun. I notice there are only a few people in our village who linger gazing eye to eye with Yeshua and Myriam. Most feel uncomfortable looking into their eyes. They cast their eyes to the earth and turn away. But with me, it's like I don't want Yeshua or Myriam to ever blink. I never want their eyes taken off me. Yeshua is so easy to love. Even though I am only a girl, I know what I feel in my heart is a love coming from him that is pure, like a mother's love for her child. The energy that comes out of his eyes is like the scintillating rays of the sun, which clears away all the darkness in my mind. Usually you can feel a powerful energy around him, and you know when he is somewhere nearby. But sometimes he pulls his energy in close. And then when you least expect it, he will come up from behind and gently tickle your ribs, take your hands, turn you around, dance with you, laughing like there is no tomorrow. Yeshua can be very playful, and he has the most wonderful laugh. Myriam does too. I wish I were Myriam. CA. She is very happy to be marrying Yeshua, isn't she? Galeah. Yes, very. Her smiling face is glowing. It is as though a rapturous song sings through her entire body. He is happy too. They are beautiful together. They're the kind of couple every girl dreams about being a part of herself. CA. What is Yeshua wearing? Galeah. His family members are Essenes from Mount Carmel, where everyone dresses very simply. Our way is more elaborate. His mother made him a simple robe of very fine linen. It has a wide neckline, which he can pull easily over his head. Part of his chest is exposed. There is a little fine hair showing. His luminous skin is very tanned and beautiful. His wavy hair is dark auburn brown that hangs below his shoulders. There are locks that grow from his temples and crown that have never been cut. They are twisted into a small knot at the top of his head, which is held in place with a slender ivory hairpick. We have an ancient love poem among our scriptures passed down to us from Solomon, the wise, and Queen Sheba. Myriam has taught a number of us how to understand it on levels beyond the ordinary mind. Much of it requires a different way of seeing. It ignites passion for the beloved as God incarnate, the beloved. It sets the stage for conceiving a child in a space of love and light. As I look at Yeshua and Myriam, it's as if the Song of Songs was written just for them. CA. Is Yeshua taller than Myriam? Galeah. Myriam's head is just slightly above his shoulder. CA. Does he have a beard? Galeah. Right now he is mostly clean shaven. He had the beginnings of a beard before the ceremony. I am not sure why it's been shaved. I'm sure he will soon have a beard again, as is the custom of the Nazarite Essenes. CA. What colour are his eyes? Galeah. Oh, they are deep, warm hazel brown with lots of blue-grey specks. They seem to change like quicksilver. Sometimes they look more blue-grey and sometimes a little more golden brown. They have a clear, watery look to them. His eyes dance like sunlight on water. They are very lively, and yet they are like a very still, deep well. As I said, he's a walking enigma, a lovable mystery. CA. What else would you like to share about this celebration? Galeah. This wedding is an enactment of the Song of Songs. It is an ancient ritual of the goddess mother mating with Father Creator. It is the anointing of the bridegroom to prepare him to enter the bride's sacred chamber, where they will open to one another. In union, they bring heaven's great light into the earth mother's body. It is a sacred blessing upon all life in all its myriad forms, so all beings may be abundantly fertile and happy. After we have had our feast and more dancing, Myriam will be brought out of a dark room and led to a special place that has been prepared. There is a platform under a red silk canopy that is tied in such a way as to reveal a bed of richly upholstered cushions covered with cloths, sheepskins, and even a leopard skin. It is used by Egyptian priests who officiate in the conception and resurrection rites of Isis, Osiris, and Horus. When night draws nigh, the canopy veils will be untied and the heavy red silks will be unfurled. The wedding bed will then be hidden from our view. Now we are ready for the actual ceremony. At the foot of the canopy is a long bench upon which Yeshua is sitting in calm repose. Myriam is brought to stand a distance in front of him. Yeshua silently beckons Myriam to come close. She kneels at his feet. His entire body was washed earlier in a special ritual that is done among the men. This is also true for Myriam, with the assistance of the women. She bends low, slowly and gently kisses his feet, her long hair cascading all around, veiling her sacred supplication. Yeshua places a hand on her head, indicating it is time to rise. Standing before him, she removes a sealed alabaster vial of expensive spikenard oil from her girdle. The heat of her body has made its thick syrupy texture into anointing oil that is easy to pour and apply. All is very hushed until she breaks the wax seal from the head of the vial. As she pours some of the pungent spikenard upon Yeshua's head, we who are in attendance offer a soft, collective sigh. Then she places both hands upon his crown. His hair, which was previously knotted, hangs long and limp down his back. A quickening energy begins to rise as Miriam's belly quivers and her hips begin an almost imperceptible undulation. Yeshua's head falls back, his eyes closed, his hands resting in equipoise on his thighs. Myriam kneels once more at her beloved's feet and begins to pour oil upon them. Some of the string instruments begin to slow drone and the percussion a very soft quivering rhythm. A chorus of voices begins a slow vibrato. A male cantor now starts reciting the entire Song of Songs, the way of opening to the beloved on high. Myriam tenderly lifts each anointed foot onto her lap and massages it in a very sensual way. Slowly she massages the sole of his feet, each toe, and between the toes. Ever so slowly she anoints and massages his calves. She rises up on bended knees and reaches under his robe to anoint and massage his thighs, which are like smooth white marble pillars. The music becomes more ardent and the harmonies more complex. Our voices make the cooing sound of doves. Among us, a solo female voice joins the male cantor with melodious and increasingly ecstatic refrains. She weaves her beautiful voice through the entire tapestry of sound. The voice of the divine feminine, the queen of heaven and earth, calls forth the King of Kings to make his descent. She calls forth the winds from the four directions. She calls forth the angels of earth, fire, water, and air to bear witness. She weaves the sounds of all creation and infinite space to come and be present here. Myriam anoints Yeshua's head once more, now massaging every orifice and plane of his face, neck, shoulders, back, and arms. She takes his hands and lifts them to her mouth and kisses them. Placing his hands upon her hips, she pulls his head to her breasts. Her breasts are like pomegranates, rich and full and nurturing. She continues to coax the energy to rise up Yeshua's spine, one hand upon his crown and the other behind his heart. Our bodies begin to undulate, our eyes wet with tears. We are all feeling the serpent power rising in our spines. Tears stream from Miriam's eyes. Her body quivers. The male and female cantor alternate between singing in unison and reciting in response to each other. The beloved song of ecstasy awakens passion within our hearts and loins. Myriam bends low and places her mouth above Yeshua's head. A ram's horn is raised to the sky. Myriam blows the breath of life into her beloved's crown, and the horn ushers forth a quickening tone, clear and fervent. We feel an awakening shudder through our bodies. It is as if what Myriam is doing to Yeshua, she is also doing to us. She, representing the Great Mother, anoints and awakens her children. Yeshua raises himself from the bench. His diaphanous robe clings to his anointed body. He takes Miriam's hands and beckons her to take his place upon the bench. It is the bride's turn to be honored and anointed. The male cantor's tenor notes and the woman's contralto passages weave into each other, soothing and coaxing an ever-rising flow of energy. The ancient primordial marriage of the dying and risen king with the queen of heaven and earth. The consecration of their bodies to bring forth a covenant child is enacted before our eyes. As Yeshua anoints his beloved, it is as if we can feel a life-giving fountain offering up her waters, freely spreading her greening wetness upon the earth's dry wastelands. We can feel the Great Mother quenching all beings' thirst. As his hands anoint Miriam's hands, heart, and belly, we also feel a fiery energy rising up from the earth's center. It penetrates our bodies as if the flame of a cosmic fire is surging upward to merge with the light of the stars, sun, and moon. Then he blows the breath of life into her crown. The horn resounds. Once again, we are quickened. There are no dry eyes. Whew, no dry eyes. I think there's just like, whew, my goodness. This is quite the wedding ceremony. Just imagine if we had wedding ceremonies like that. I think that'd be a bit more exciting. Okay, so a large cushion is placed between them and they kneel upon it facing each other. A small glass bowl is handed first to Myriam. In it is a red paste made of ground minerals and olive oil. She gathers the paste upon the middle finger of her right hand and draws a red stripe down Yeshua's forehead, nose, lips, chin, throat, and then she stops at his heart. Yeshua takes the bowl and does likewise with Myriam. All the while, they are looking deeply into each other's eyes. It makes me want to swoon. Myriam is quivering. Yeshua is quivering. I am not surprised. They are all quivering. Then he raises his hands, and she takes the red paste and presses it deeply into his palms and wrists. Yeshua does likewise with Miriam's palms and wrists. They bring their hands and wrists towards each other until they are pressed together. Slowly they bring their bodies close as their hands and forearms extend out to the side. At last they rest together, heart to heart, thigh to thigh, forehead to forehead, and mouth to mouth. For those able to see, way up above their heads there is a bright golden white light swirling around. It descends and gathers like a pillar around them. In perfect unison they stand up within the pillar of light. There is a weaving of multi-hued energy penetrating and weaving their bodies into one entwined body. There is an extended hush. In the deafening silence, we feel we are being lifted up into the canopy of the heavens. Then, all of a sudden, someone strikes cymbals faster and faster. There's fast clapping. Some of the men rush in and gather Yeshua up. James and Jude bend down, their arms held fast around each other's waists. The men place Yeshua on his brother's strong shoulders excitedly. There are other men who rush in and gather up Myriam. They place her on her uncle Elisa's broad shoulder. The music starts up and it builds and builds as we begin to dance in a big circle around them. We are in joyous ecstasy, dancing, 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 and dancing. Whirling like sunlit clouds of glory, we spin the light. We weave the light into and through ourselves. In brackets it says, an elevated sense of being permeates Galeah's words. There is laughter, there is drinking, there is more eating and more sweet cakes. It is dark outside now. The stars are shining brightly. Oh my, they are taking Yeshua and Myriam to the bridal chamber. Its thick veils are down and drawn close. The other girls and I, who are still virgins, can't help but giggle a little. It is all so lovely. The scent of burning sandalwood and frankincense fills the air. I breathe in the sweet and pungent aroma of spikenard, lotus flowers, and other oils. Oh, it all smells so good. It is so intoxicating. I pray that I shall have such a blessing when it is my time to marry my true beloved. I am Galeah, and I am happy we could experience this beautiful ceremony together today. CA, I am happy too. Thank you for sharing all the beauty and the excitement. Galeah, oh, the next thing I want to say is several weeks after the wedding, Myriam announced that she is with child. We are all feeling very happy about this good news, and we are also feeling some sadness. Myriam will be leaving us soon to begin the long journey to the great mountains of the east. We will miss her. We pour out blessings upon her, Yeshua, and their unborn child. It is good. We are all happy. Yeshua and Miriam's marriage ceremony has been shared. Now those who live in your day can know about it. This is enough for now. CA, thank you for coming and sharing with us. Whew, so that was a very entertaining chapter. But wow, like what an incredible wedding and ceremony. And yes, it is quite sexually heightened, but it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful ritual of just connecting with God and with the universe and just Mother Earth, and just, yeah, it's just absolutely beautiful. And it's a shame that weddings aren't like that today. But I'm sure there are many cultures around the world that still have special practices like that. And, if anybody does know of them, please put them in the comments below, because it's always interesting to learn about things like that. So now I would like to continue with chapter 6, Myriam of Tyana. Myriam reveals her meeting with Yeshua at the well. So this will be from Myriam's perspective. And there's just a little note that this journey to India is Yeshua and Myriam's second trip, which occurred several years before the public ministry began in AD 28. And then it says, see Anna, grandmother of Jesus, for more details. Okay, so near the Khyber Pass, AD 14. The Khyber Pass is on the border between present-day Afghanistan and Pakistan. Myriam meets Yeshua at the well in Samaria. Myriam, I am pouring water into a basin into which I am placing my beloved Yeshua's tired feet. I cleanse away the dust of the road and then gently massage olive and essential oils into his dry, cracked skin. There are others of the brothers and sisters whose feet I also gladly wash before we enter the dining area. A wonderful meal has been laid out for us. Our hosts have been expecting us and preparing for our arrival for days. We have been away for a long time. It has been more than the passing of one full moon since we left my parents' home in Tyana, which is located in Cappadocia, Turkey. We are not far from the Khyber Pass. Once through the high mountain pass, the last portion of our long journey will take us to my brother-in-law, Joseph, the younger, his home in Varanasi, Benares, near the source of the sacred river Ganges at the foot of the high Himalayas. Shortly after our marriage, 11 years ago, when we first travelled to India, Yeshua and I had found lodging in this same large home. This family has given refuge to such pilgrims traversing the road that connects the Middle and Far East for many generations. Myriam and I are glad to be able to assist the women of this household in exchange for a comfortable place to rest. I am now helping with the clearing away of our meal. Our hosts and the other men, Mary of Bethany and several of the other sisters who chose to travel with us, are gathered around Yeshua to hear from his mouth any glad tidings. His sharing is brief because we are weary from our travels. We excuse ourselves early and go to our appointed chambers. I am particularly glad for our very comfortable quarters because I am heavy with child. Just no wonder there is such a huge gap of Jesus's life missing from the Bible. I mean, how could they share this? Their story, their way of dominating us with the fear of Jesus dying on the cross for our sins and making us out to be these terrible, sinful people that can only be saved through Jesus. I mean, no offense to people that believe that, that's fine. People are allowed to believe whatever they want. But I believe the idea that somebody out there has to save us is only disempowering ourselves. And I believe that we do need to activate the Christ consciousness, but we need to activate it within ourselves, not by worshipping some person out there. I mean, Yeshua did not want to be worshipped. He didn't want us all to think that we were terrible people that could only be forgiven because he died on the cross for us. But I mean, no wonder that story would never have worked if they shared that he had been in India and he had gone to, to England, and that he had been married not only once but twice. and had children with 2 different women, I mean, oh my God, this just would never have, the story would never have worked. It is just mind-blowing to know all of this. Okay, so Catherine Ann, henceforth CA. Is this your first baby? Miriam. This is my first child since giving birth to Joseph and Myriam. Joseph was born shortly after we arrived in India in AD 14. Myriam was born 4 years later. I have been barren 7 years. I rejoice in the opening of my womb. I rejoice in this child who will have the blessings of being born, as were his siblings within the household of Yeshua's brother, Joseph, who has become a renowned physician in this region. CA, how close are you to giving birth? Miriam, if all bodes well, I have another 3 months. CA, how does Yeshua feel about this child? Miriam, he is very happy. He loves to put his hand on my swollen belly and feel the wonder of the child moving. Sometimes he cups my swollen breasts as he kisses me on the cheek, my forehead, and then lingers at my mouth. He likes that I am with child. We sense that it is a boy child. We shall call him Johannes. CA, how old are you and how old is Yeshua at this time? Miriam, he is in his 29th year and I am in my 31st. CA, what else would you like to share? Miriam, I know there is much that has been hidden regarding me and my place in the life of Yeshua. Hidden so much that we didn't know about her at all. When I look into the future, into your time, I know that my presence, my ways, my wisdom, my children, and my experiences with Yeshua may be of benefit to others who love Yeshua and feel a resonance with Mary Magdalene. There is so much that I could share about my life, but I'm going to refrain so that other family members and friends may have an opportunity to speak. I am pleased that I may utter a few words and bare my heart to those who wish to know me and all that I represent. Or maybe we need to get Claire Hartsong and Catherine Ann Clement to do another book, and then Myriam of Tyana can share her whole story. Okay. CA, thank you for coming and clarifying some of the misunderstandings many people have about Mary Magdalene and her relationship with Yeshua. In Anna's earlier book, Yeshua reveals that he had a tantric lover during the years he was first in India. Did you meet her? Can you tell us about this woman? Miriam, yes, I knew this beautiful woman who became one of my closest friends and confidants. She was also my tantric sister who trained with Yeshua and me in the mysteries of lifting and transmuting lust-based sexuality and channeling this life force energy for the purpose of attaining enlightenment. She was named after Krishna's consort Radha. Her father was a powerful tantric yogi. She was highly skilled in all manner of spiritual practices, and she was an extraordinarily gentle and compassionate woman. I did not feel threatened by Radha or Yeshua's love for her. I am thankful for the grace and unconditional love that she expressed so naturally for us, which made our harmonious and empowering journey together possible. Several years before we were to leave India, we were greatly saddened by Radha's death, which occurred while giving birth to Yeshua's son, Jude. I gladly adopted him as my own child. CA, can you share more about how you and Yeshua met and what it is like being his wife and tantric partner? Miriam, my family is of the tribes of Benjamin and Manasseh, and most of them have lived in the region of Cappadocia in Turkey for many generations. Before that, my ancestors were held captive in northern Babylonia. Before the time of King Nebuchadnezzar, they lived in Israel, and prior to that in Egypt. Our forefather is Abraham, and our great matriarch is Sarah, who went to Egypt and Mount Sinai from Ur of the Chaldees. My blood is seeded not only with this auspicious lineage, but also with that of the pharaohs of Egypt, Queen Sheba of Ethiopia, and the Assyrian royalty. Some of my relatives left Cappadocia and took up residence in what used to be known as Israel, but is now called Samaria, and Galilee near Mount Tabor. Many of the tribes of Judah and Ephraim spurn us, calling us Samaritans, saying our bloodline is tainted and our worship of the goddess is blasphemous. I used to find their condensation and bigoted attachment to the letter of the law bothersome, but now I feel compassion towards anyone who is bound by such ignorance. My immediate family is considered affluent and well educated. We do not keep slaves, and we abhor sacrifice of any kind. Many of us, including my father, ascribe to the teachings of Zoroaster in addition to the writings within the Torah and other mystical oral traditions passed down from Moses, the Egyptian alchemists, and the Greek philosophers. I have especially enjoyed being taught by Oriental teachers who, in private audience, have shared the Hindu Vedas and sayings of Buddha with me. We are aware of the many gods and goddesses and how all is of an interconnected oneness. My mother was particularly fond of the mythic hero and heroine stories. She seemed to understand these very well, having memorized some of the epics. She had a keen interest in sharing her understanding with me. She knew various ways of contacting these mythic realms as parts of herself, which assisted her ability to be fertile. Demonstrating her mastery, 14 healthy children came forth from her womb, I being the youngest. Mama demonstrated an unusual generosity of heart while cultivating harmony and patience during the more recent years that she lived with my father's 2 younger wives. She had a highly developed intuition, what you would call psychic abilities. She was very wise and very astute. Her cheerful, earthy laughter and gentle voice calmed every troubled heart. Nurturing her family, which she considered her greatest treasure, was her supreme joy. Mama was highly respected in our community. She was often looked to for guidance and matchmaking. I am still grieving the loss of her, my dearest of mothers, who recently passed beyond the veil. Unfortunately, I did not have the opportunity to sit with her soul as it passed from her body. My father's 2 other wives have given him 12 children altogether. These women, my 2 other mothers, are still living with Papa in Tyana. I rejoiced in our reunion with my large family and the many days of feasting and dancing, which we all enjoyed before we joined this caravan. It has taken us to these mountains so far away from familiar faces and customs. But lest I forget, there is a family to embrace on the other side of the mountain pass. But I am getting ahead of my story. It was my older brothers, Eliza and Akim, after I joined my relatives in the fertile valleys below Mount Carmel, Mount Tabor, and Mount Gilboa, who invited me to come and live with them when I had reached the age of 16. Although I missed my parental home and my extended family, I found my new home in Samaria and Galilee very agreeable. As I speak, my memories rise up as if what I am sharing is in the present moment, so I shall speak about my experiences. What most attracted me to this land was the nearby Mount Carmel Essene Mystery School, which I briefly visited several times before finally meeting the great matriarch and teacher, Anna. She invited me to return when I felt the calling to begin my initiations. And so it was that within a year of my arrival, I entered into the Essene way, which I find very compatible with my earlier esoteric training in Tyana. During the year that I was at the monastery at Mount Carmel, I heard stories about a young man called Yeshua ben Joseph, Anna's grandson, who recently returned from taking initiations in Britain. He was visiting his family in Nazareth at the time, and even though I was mildly curious about him, I was much more intrigued and mystified by the energies that seemed to quicken and spread warmth through my heart when I heard mention of his name. I had already returned home to my brother's home in Galeah before Yeshua came to Mount Carmel for an extended visit. Once engaged in my busy family life and absorbed in my meditation practices, I promptly forgot about the boy from Nazareth. Thinking of him as a boy somehow made it easier to concentrate on what was at hand, rather than the quickening in my heart. Then, one day, a month or so later, I was at one of Eliza's wells. My hard-working brother had a large estate with many sheep, goats, horses, and camels that grazed the grassland where the Judean desert rises to meet the green mountains and valleys of Galilee. Many wells dotted the land where his animals watered. Ponds ringed by date palms held the winter runoff from Mount Gilboa. The precious water from the wells and ponds flowed through a network of ditches to orchards and gardens. On this particular day, I came to sit and contemplate beside one of the nearby wells, which provided water for our primary household. While I was lingering there in solitude, enjoying the birdsong amid the scuffing whispers of the palm fronds, I glimpsed a small group of a dozen or more men. They were making their way down from the higher country which borders my uncle's pastures to the northeast. As they drew closer, I recognized by their manner and clothing that they were Nazarite Essenes, most likely from the Mount Carmel monastery. They wore plain, unadorned robes of unbleached linen, their long hair, which they all wore in a similar fashion, and their exceedingly calm, mindful bearing and movement set them apart from the native lay people of Galilee and Samaria. And of course, they could not be mistaken for the Romans who occupied our lands. As they approached, I could see that they were of varying ages, from adolescent boys to aged elders. My attention was drawn to one of the younger men. When my eyes looked upon him, I was startled by a profound energy that began to race through my heart. Though different in appearance from what I had imagined, I instantly knew him to be Yeshua ben Joseph. He certainly was not a mere boy. To discreetly gaze upon him was impossible. I felt as though I was being repeatedly struck by lightning. Our eyes locked in an eternal embrace, as if recognizing one another from a distant time beyond this world. And then time seemed to stand still, as any vestige of propriety melted away into the river of energy coursing between us. I stood up, leaning against the well for support. Tears welled up and ran down both of our cheeks. Yeshua dismounted his donkey and came over to me, gently placing his hand on my shoulder. I almost fainted, losing my balance. I nearly fell back into the well, but his strong arms gathered me to him. It was as if we were instantly one. Seeing what was happening between us, Yeshua's oldest uncle, Joseph of Arimathea, known near and far as the wealthy mediator of the law from Samaria, immediately turned to his companions and announced that he would inquire of the householder who owned these wells, my eldest brother, if they might find lodging here for the night. After drawing up water for men and animals, I eagerly led my new acquaintances to my brother's large house, which was adjoined by a number of commodious tents. Upon meeting these new acquaintances, Eliza, who grandly enjoyed hosting people, set forth making accommodation for our guests. After the evening meal and much camaraderie, our new friends decided to delay their journey to Arimathea and Jerusalem by several days. Both Eliza and Joseph, sensing a good match and that a marriage between the two families might prove equitably beneficial, agreed to Yeshua's request to court me. During this short time together, Yeshua and I bonded in an extraordinary way. We felt overlit by the energies and the blessings of the great angels of heaven. There was no question that marriage was our destiny. During the short time that we spent together before vows were shared, Yeshua explained to me that he had very strong guidance to go to India, where he could meet with numerous enlightened masters and the awakened saints who lived in that faraway land. Yeshua's brother James would be going, and they would also have the protection of their uncle Jacob, one of Anna's older sons, who lived in an Essene monastery in southern Gaul. Jacob was exceedingly glad to be invited to be his nephew's protector. In brackets it says, as it later unfolded, just as we were about to leave Yeshua's family in Nazareth, his younger brother Joseph was given permission to come with us. All was in preparation. Joseph of Arimathea gathered provisions, and their departure was set to take place in a few short months. Joseph, who would soon be taking his regular freighting voyage to various destinations along the northern coastline of the Great Sea, would bring Uncle Jacob back with him from Gaul. Yeshua asked me if I would be willing to be able to join him in India for as yet undetermined length of time. I did not find his announcement a hindrance at all. Instantly, I took Yeshua's hands and told him about my love of the masters and their teachings. I shared with him how thrilled I was to be able to be with my beloved in this land that offered so many opportunities for devotional practice. With that settled, we all agreed that arrangements for our betrothal and wedding be started immediately. After Yeshua's trip to Jerusalem, we spent a blessed week together before he returned to Nazareth and Mount Carmel to announce our marriage to his parents and relatives. Meanwhile, my two brothers' wives and families began gathering my dowry and all that would make our betrothal and wedding ceremonies a source of joy for Yeshua's Galilean and Judean relatives, as well as a memorable time of festive celebration for my family and friends. Because of the time constraints created by our forthcoming journey to India, it was decided that the nuptial rituals would be celebrated within 2 weeks of each other, instead of the usual time of 9 months or more. My niece Galeah has shared about her experience and the excitement and joy she felt at our wedding. I hope that you too might joyfully celebrate our union. CA. In the Holy Bible, there is a story about a Samaritan woman whom Yeshua meets at a well. She gives Yeshua a drink, and he offers to give her water, which, if she drinks it, she will never thirst again. Are you the woman spoken of in this story? Myriam. This story is a composite of several stories about different women he met at different wells. That's interesting. I am one of these women. On a different day, shortly following our initial meeting, we shared water from one cup. Yeshua spoke of the difference between the unquenchable thirst of ordinary human desire and the great desire of and for the beloved, which consumes and satisfies all human desires. Human desires, he explained, are attached to getting and keeping what is ultimately impermanent. Even if satisfied for a moment, there is never ongoing satisfaction, just unending thirst. This causes much suffering. I knew within every cell of my body and beyond all bodies what he meant. The great desire for oneness is satisfied by the living waters of the beloved, which, when drunk, create divine union. During the course of our life's journey together, Yeshua and I drank from love's infinite well, which never dries up. We are always deeply fulfilled. Over the course of our years together, it became apparent to us that he could not do what was his to do without me. I knew for certain that I couldn't be liberated fully without him. So we embarked on the mystery of mystical union together. We gave to each other from our cups, holding nothing back ever. Wow, that definitely sounds like real, true, genuine love. I find it very interesting them talking about Yeshua talking about the thirst. And I've recently been learning a lot about Kabbalah. And the more I've been learning about it, it's not really religion or anything like that. It's more just a spiritual kind of philosophy. And it was interesting hearing about her story, because it sounds like, from the guy that I've been listening to and learning about Kabbalah through, which is David Guillaume, and I will share his YouTube below. He talks about how Kabbalah basically came forth from Abraham and Moses. And it's interesting that her ancestors was Abraham. And a lot of what she's saying and learning about seems to relate to the teachings of Kabbalah. And also, it's very interesting that what Yeshua says about you can quench that thirst by having that connection with the beloved, which quenches all thirst. And that's basically the teachings that I've been learning about, is about connecting with the creator or the universe or God or whatever name feels comfortable to you. And it's basically feeling whole and complete with the way things are right now, yet still being open to abundance and being open to things getting better, but also feeling whole and complete right now in this moment, so that you can experience real miracles in your life. And it's just such a beautiful philosophy. And yeah, the more I've been learning about it, the more I find it's been helping me in my everyday life and just dealing with certain struggles that I have, which has been really amazing. And I'm loving reading these stories so much from Anna and learning about the Essene communities and how Yeshua's life, and there was so much that he learned. It wasn't just Christianity. He learned so much from different initiations he went through, from different cultures, India and Egypt, and from the Druids. It's just absolutely incredible that he is so well-rounded with all the different religions and beliefs and philosophies of the world. And I think that's kind of the point here, is that I don't know that it helps to believe in one particular religion. I think there is beautiful teachings in all of the ones around the world, and then we put together, because at the end of the day, it's all about the unity consciousness. And it's interesting, even learning, I've been covering Atlantis, a series of Atlantis on my channel as well. And it's very, very interesting that there was two groups in Atlantis. There was the Belial group that had gotten off track and just became very materialistic and self-serving. And then there was the children of the law of one, who were basically all about unity consciousness. And I believe that Yeshua's teachings stemmed from that. The Essene community stemmed from that. And well, it was passed down onto Egypt. So it's really, really very interesting learning about all of this and how it relates to different parts of the world. Anyways, I'm trying to get a point across, and I think I'm just struggling a little bit to get the words together. But how fascinating to learn about Yeshua's marriage to Myriam of Tyana and how they met. And it just, no wonder that there is a huge missing block of time from the Bible about Yeshua's life, because how could they include this information in there? How could they explain that he had two wives and had children to both of them? And that he had a child to his tantric lover in India. I mean, wow, they definitely could not have included that in the Bible, because the whole story of Jesus dying on the cross would never have worked if they shared this information. So, wow. Well, if you are as mind blown as I am, please leave a like and leave a comment below and share this with anybody you think would enjoy having their mind blown as well. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.